Hey, what's up everybody? It's Akira, and I know I'm looking pretty busted right now, and I really didn't want to set up my ring light and all that today because I'm really tired because I have 2 kids now. And yeah, that's what this video is about actually. It'll be the birth story of my second baby, Aviana. She's in my arms right now, and here she is. She just woke up from a nap, and so did Nico. See the top of his head right there. I was trying to get this recorded while they were both sleeping, but by the time I took the camera out, they both woke up at the same time. Go figure. So I decided to record anyway because I really want to get this video out. I know you guys have been waiting, but I have been so tired trying to figure out a good time to even do this, considering having to deal with Nico and deal with a newborn, and it's been pretty tough. Cody's been helping when he can, but he still has to go to work, so I have both of them at night until he gets off work, so it's still pretty busy for me. But yeah, so let's get into how all this started. She was born on September 3rd, 2020, and which is ironically actually Cody's stepmom's birthday as well, so she shares a birthday with her. I kind of didn't want her to share a birthday with anybody, which kind of sucks because my due date was September 14th, and so I was hoping she would be born closer around that time because my mom's birthday is on the 25th, which is really soon actually, in like a couple days. So I was hoping that her birthday wouldn't be shared with anybody else, but hey, she came when she was ready, and that's just how it is. I actually started feeling contractions like earlier when I woke up. Oh, she's fussy. Early when I woke up that day, but they didn't feel like normal contractions. I thought they were Braxton Hicks because they weren't intense like at all. Okay, I'm nursing her now, so she's gonna just stay like on the camera, and you might hear Nico in the background, but you know, kids. So where was I? Contractions weren't really that intense at first, so I thought they were just Braxton Hicks because it was like 2 weeks early. I was at like 38 weeks around that time, I think, and it was kind of early, so I was like, I really hope these are Braxton Hicks. But like as time went on, they were not that close together, but when they came, they started getting more and more intense. So then I was like, okay, these feel like the real thing. I'm still like, in my mind, I'm still hoping, I really hope these are Braxton Hicks. I really don't want her to be born today because I didn't want her to share a birthday with anyone, but you know, it happened how it happened. But as the time went on, and then Nico started bothering me because he wanted to play with me, and he didn't understand why mommy couldn't play. It's because I was in pain. And Cody wasn't in the room. We were sitting in the room, we were on the bed, and Cody was out in the garage with his half brother and his step brother, and they were just chilling in there. So then they started, the more intense they got, the more uncomfortable I started to get, so I couldn't even lay down anymore. So I sat up. I couldn't even I could barely move when I was having them, and then Nico kept trying to like get on me because he wanted me to hold him. I was like, Nico, I can't right now. Mom's in a lot of pain. I really can't play right now. I'm trying to explain it to him. Quiet, baby. Mommy's recording. So, but like, I saw a wet spot on the bed, and I thought it was Nico, because Nico is potty training right now, so sometimes he still gets in our bed and pees in our bed. Sometimes it's very annoying because we have to wash the sheets like twice a week. But yeah, so I thought it was him, which it was him, but like I didn't even feel anything coming out. But I stood up, and huge wet spot on the bed, and I was like, okay, my water just broke. But later we got to the hospital. It turns out that the sack she was in was still intact. So I think I was just like, it was my waters, but it wasn't like, it didn't like rupture the sack or anything. But yeah, so then at that point I was like, okay, yeah, it's baby time, let's go. So I go out to the garage, and Nico follows me because, you know, he thinks I'm just standing up, and I'm wearing a long dress, so I have this big wet spot on my butt on my dress, and nobody saw it though. I hid it, and I'll go out to the garage, and I open the door, and I'm like, I'm looking at Cody. I said, hey, can you come here for a second? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I don't think he knew what was going on at the moment, but I'm sorry, baby. At the moment. So then when he came in the garage, he closed the garage door, and I said, yeah, my water just broke. So then he was like, oh, okay, okay. So he just kept like saying okay, like he was kind of freaking out. So then he picks up Nico, and then he goes in the living room, is like getting their attention, like talking to stepmom. Is like, yeah. And I guess he didn't even have to say anything. Then his stepmom was like, is it baby time? And then he was like, yeah. And then she was like, no way, because it was her birthday. And so then like we started getting everything ready, getting him ready for the however many days I was going to be in the hospital, which turned out to be like 2. So realistically it was just a day, because we were there for like 24 hours until we, like, because we have to stay there for 24 hours before we can leave, even if like we're done with all the tests and everything. But so then we started getting him ready, showing them where his clothes are, his diapers are, or his pull-ups are, he's potty training. Shh. He's watching dinosaur videos, so he will be roaring in the background. I'm sorry about that. I will edit this video the best I can. But yeah, so anyway, we're getting my hospital bag ready. We packed a hospital bag for Cody too, but he didn't end up staying at the hospital with me, and because of COVID, when he left, he wasn't able to come back, so he didn't even need it. He came back to the house to get Nico, because he didn't want to leave him with them all night, because Nico's kind of a handful at night. I was trying to get him to sleep and stuff. It was just too much. He didn't want them to deal with that while I was in the hospital. So so then we got our hospital bags ready, and then we got the directions for the hospital, headed there, and it was really, really bumpy and rough, and it sucked because I was having contractions in the car, and it was just like, how long are we going to be there? And the hospital was like 30 minutes away, so it's like, oh my god. But we got there, pull into the parking lot, because we didn't know exactly where we needed to enter. We found the main entrance, which was where we were supposed to go, but we didn't know at the time. So we parked the car. I stayed in the car for a little bit. He ran into the hospital. I was like, hey, my wife's in labor. We're not legally married, but we call each other husband and wife. Anyway, but he was like, my wife's in labor. Is this where we need to go? Blah, blah, blah. I wasn't in there, but I'm assuming that's what he's asking. So then he came out and got me and was like, yeah, this is where you need to be. They're getting a wheelchair for you. So got out of the parking spot, went to the entrance so that I can get in the wheelchair, and he put me in the wheelchair and he wheeled me in, and then I got checked in and all that stuff, but he couldn't go into the room with me until I was checked in and stuff, and they checked everything to make sure that I was actually like in labor. I was actually like about to have the baby there at the time. So then when I got there, took all my clothes off to put the hospital gown on and all that stuff. They got all my information they needed to get at the time, and she checked my cervix, and I was like 5 centimeters dilated when she checked. So then they were like, okay, yeah, so it looks like you're gonna be staying here, because like the day after that I was supposed to have my next OB appointment, but it turns out I didn't need to go because baby was coming that day. So then like they checked me and everything, and then they said Cody could come in after, and they checked everything was done. He brought in the hospital bag and stuff, so he sat there with me for a while, and then we ended up changing rooms, going to the room where I was going to be delivering at. So then we stayed in there for a little bit, and I didn't eat like all day, because my contractions started like pretty much a little bit after I woke up. So I didn't even get time to eat anything. All I had was water, so I was already exhausted and kind of weak from that. The contractions were still bearable at this time, and I was determined to have her natural like I did Nico, and I did end up having her natural, but labor with her was way worse than with Nico, and like I was shaking and stuff like more than when I was shaking with him. And his labor didn't last as long because I did most of it at home, and I was already 8 centimeters when I got to the hospital with him, so I didn't have to wait that long to contract all the way to 10 centimeters by the time I got there. But I was at 5 centimeters with her, so it took way longer, and it was just like, no. And they also had to rupture the sac like they did with Nico. So once they ruptured it when I was around 5-6 centimeters already. So I was in more intense pain longer than when I was with him. When we got to the delivery room, they put the IV in my arm, checked my blood and all this other stuff. And once they checked it, it turns out my blood sugar was really low, and I was telling them, yeah, I didn't eat today, like at all. We came straight here because I just woke up and was having contractions. So like they had to keep pricking my fingers. They pricked like every single one of my fingers because they had to test it every single time, every few minutes, to make sure my sugar was going up. And they had to give me they put I don't know what it was like in the IV. They just like sugar something, I don't know what exactly it was, but it was something, I'm assuming, that had sugar in it to bring my blood sugar up. So after that, after they were testing my fingers and stuff, they were like, okay, your blood sugar's not going up. We're gonna give you something to eat, give you some juice and stuff. I drank a lot of juice from that, and I had a turkey sandwich, very, very dry, very, very bland, but I needed to eat, so I had that, and Cody was right there next to me, and he was hungry because he didn't get to eat either because he didn't expect us to be leaving the house. So we didn't have any. We both were sitting there hungry, and I'm like, oh my god. So I couldn't even finish the rest of the food. So he pretty much finished off that turkey sandwich and whatever else on there I didn't want to eat. So he had some of that. They later ended up bringing us some food while I was still having my contractions. But at the time we were both just like, I'm so hungry. So after a while, I was just going through my contractions, just sitting there, kind of bobbing into it, trying to relax and stuff, and Cody was sitting like next to me, kind of freaking out. He wasn't like showing it, and we were wearing our masks, so you can't really see our faces, but I could tell he was like really freaking out. And he was like kind of shaky leg whenever I was having a contraction, because he saw me in like intense pain, and like the closer it got to delivery time, they were so bad. Like I was screaming, they were so bad. So it was freaking him out, and he was trying to comfort me the best way he could, but he didn't want to like touch me in case, like, you know. But so he was in the chair. The bed's like right here, and the chair next to it, he was sitting in the chair, but I couldn't see him, so like if I looked over, I would look behind me, so the chair was like further back than where I was sitting up in the bed. From that point, we were just waiting out with my contractions. My blood sugar finally got up high enough for them to not be concerned, and then it was getting closer and closer to time to push. But every time they checked me, like it didn't look like my dilation was improving, and it turns out it was because I was super constipated. So their theory was that because I was constipated, the poop was like kind of keeping her from moving, like literally pushing her back, because it was like a stopper for her. So after a while, it did progress, and then I got to around 9 centimeters, 8-9 centimeters, and they were like, okay, you are progressing. So then at that point, that's when my contractions were like not going away. It was like, you know how like the contractions would be there, and then they would slow down, and then it would stop for a while and then come back. It was at this point where they were there the entire time. They would get intense, and then not intense, then intense, and then not intense, but they weren't going away. So I'm just sitting there shaking and like holding my leg, like I was squeezing my leg to like distract myself from the pain. And at that point, Cody was all like, you wanna squeeze my hand? I'm like, no, I'm fine. Don't worry about it, I'm fine. So then that's when they were like checking me again, and then like I was sitting there screaming, and they were trying to move the, what you call it, little monitor to check the baby's heartbeat and your contractions on your belly. I don't remember what it's called, but they were trying to like adjust it because they couldn't like get her heartbeat and stuff. But I think that was mostly because of like the shape of my belly and stuff. It was really difficult. But every time they would move it, like it felt like a contraction would trigger, and like my body was tensing up, and I was screaming my head off, and I couldn't move into the position they needed without screaming. And that was really it was really annoying for me, because like I didn't want to be like that person, but I was in pain. I didn't care at the time, and I really had to poop. Like I was constipated as hell, and I've been trying to like it just wouldn't. It was just there. So with that being said, when it was time to push, I did end up pooping while delivering her, and the doctor kind of had to help me out with that, because like she put her fingers inside, like to feel for her head and stuff and make sure she was moving. She kind of had to push down. This is very graphic, I'm so sorry, but it is a delivery story video. So but like she kind of had to like push down onto my rectum, like pushing and pulling it out while I was pushing out 80. So like I was sitting there straight up just pooping right there on the bed while pushing out my child, which I knew I was going to at that point because I knew I was like super constipated. I kept like, right before they were bringing the equipment in, I was like holding onto the side of the bed and I was sideways because every time there was a contraction, it felt like I was about to poop, but it was stuck, like it would not come out. I was like, I'm gonna poop. I'm totally gonna poop. I'm screaming. I'm like, I'm gonna poop. I already knew it. They were like, you feel like you gotta poop? I was like, I feel like I gotta poop. I'm gonna poop. And they were like, it wasn't funny at the time, like, because they're professionals, so like they deal with this all the time. So it's probably not, definitely more than likely not the first time it's ever happened, because it does happen. And like, I wasn't expecting for it to happen to me, but like after a while, I was like, yeah, I'm totally gonna be pooping while delivering. And I didn't care at that point. I just wanted to get my baby out so she'd be healthy and stuff. I didn't care. I was like, whatever, do what you gotta do. I'm pushing my child out. I don't care. It wasn't even embarrassing. I was just in pain. So while I'm pushing her out, Cody decides to sit in the chair. He did not look because he was freaking out, like I said, and he thought if he did look, he would pass out. I don't think he would pass out. I think he was being dramatic. But he was right next to me, right by my side the whole time, and I think he was just because he was shaking, like his legs were shaking. Like, I looked over at him for like a second and saw that he was really worried about me because he's never seen me in that much pain before, and he wasn't there for when Nika was born, so this was his first time experiencing seeing or having or being there when his child is born. So it was very intense for him as well. So after like maybe, I don't even know how long I was pushing for, maybe 15-20 minutes, she came out, and like and Cody was just like it was just a whole relief for both of us. And then Cody stood up to see her, and the doctor she asked him if he wanted to cut the cord, and he's like, no, I'm good. And I was like, excuse me. I was mad. I was like, you are cutting this cord and you didn't look, you can at least cut the cord. And he was like, okay. And yeah, I was gonna scream at him if he really was like, no. I was like, you're cutting this cord, okay? If you didn't look, watch your baby come out, you're gonna cut the cord at least. So he ended up cutting the cord, and that's pretty much that. That's pretty much the end. That's the whole birth story, really. It was a really intense experience. Like I said, it was way more intense than when I was in labor and with Nico, and I was just really, really happy that Cody was there this time. And I think it was better for me that it was just him and not like the family. Because of COVID, he was the only one who was allowed to be there. I was only allowed to have one support person, and I'm happy it was him, because it was something I feel like we both needed to experience, and he helps a lot more with Nico now, because I have to deal with her, and he sometimes doesn't even ask. He'll just come in the room if Nico's bothering me and snatch him up and go take him to his computer, and they'll play video games or something. But he's been a lot of help, and I think experiencing that with me was something he needed to understand, like why it's so like important, you know, to like be a parent and be there and stuff to help me. Oh, somebody's fussy baby. Oh, look at this adorable onesie my mom got her. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. It was very interesting. Like I said earlier, it was a very interesting and humbling experience, and so glad I did it natural again, even though it was like a lot of pain. If we ever have any more kids in the future, I definitely would try and do it natural again. Like even after doing it twice, I'm still like, I could do it again. And I really do believe I can. Cody had ended up leaving after that. I know I said the story was over, but I just wanted to add a little bit more, because Cody had to leave, and he because I forgot my phone charger, so my phone was dead and I had no way to contact my mom at the time. So he went back home when he was going to get Nico and brought me my charger and some snacks and stuff. He couldn't come in the hospital because like when he left he had to stay out because of COVID. But they ended up letting him in when it was time for us to go home. But he dropped off my stuff, and they brought him up to me, so I was able to charge my phone, and he brought my iPad too, which was already fully charged, so I was able to contact my mom as soon as I got it. And we FaceTimed her, and she saw Aviana, and it was great. By the time we got home, Nico was the first one to meet her, and he was like surprised, but he was like, he's like, who's this? Like, this is like, oh no, baby. I'm gonna try to wrap this up so she's not so fussy, but he was like, who's this? It's a new person in here. Like, and he knew, I think he knew, because like right before we left, he walked up, like we were saying goodbye to him, and he like touched my belly, and then he walked away, and I was like, that was weird. Do you know like I'm about to have a baby right now? So I think he knew in a way, because he's a smart boy, and it was actually really exciting how excited he was to meet her the first time, and he's actually really loves her. He gets jealous only when like I'm holding her or feeding her and I can't hold him. He will start crying and whining and get upset, but that's literally the only time he's ever upset about her. Any other time he wants to hold her or cuddle her. He gives her kisses all the time, and if mommy's laying down and she's laying on my chest, he'll like kind of lay next to her and like tap her back or hold her hand or something. It's the cutest thing ever. Oh my god. But I really think they're gonna have a good relationship when they get older. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. Oh wait, no, I want to she weighed 8 pounds 11 ounces. That's about almost a whole pound more than Nico weighed when he was born. He was 7 pounds 14 ounces, and yeah, she's a big baby. And because I was 2 weeks early, she was saying like, if you would have been full term, she'd probably been like 10 pounds. And I was like, oh no. So oh no, I'm glad she came 2 weeks early then, because no, I did not want to deliver a 10-pound baby without an epidural. No. And I also didn't tear this time either. I didn't tear like what I did with Nico. I didn't tear at all. So I was like, yes, recovery is gonna be a lot easier. So yeah, so now that's all I have to say. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was towards the end that was kind of all over the place, but I was just trying to fit everything into the video that I could. And I'm a mom of 2 now, and it's really weird, but it's great though. Like, cause like every time I'm looking at both of them, I'm like, I can't believe I have 2 kids. I have a son and a daughter. I have a daughter, guys. Like, I have a daughter now. Like, I've had a son for almost 2 years, so it's not weird anymore. But now, like, saying I have a daughter, I'm still trying to get used to saying that. But I'm really happy, and I think Cody's happy too. He helps a lot, and I was happy I experienced this with him, because I probably would have been like freaking out if he had to miss another birth of his child. So I think it all worked out for the better, considering probably one of the only good things about COVID for me right now was that he was the only one who was allowed there, and I feel like it was a lot better than him being the only one there. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the video and say goodbye to you guys, and hopefully I'll be able to work on more videos. I know it took me forever to even do this one, and it's been really rough on me because I've been wanting to make videos and put them out, but I never had the time because I'm taking care of a newborn and taking care of Nico, and it's been really tough. So I just hope you guys stay patient with me. I will try to get videos out as often as I can, even if I have to record them like this when my son is right here, or if I'm holding her and I have to feed her. I will do what I can or what I have to get these videos out for you guys. So hopefully I can have another video out later this week. I'm not going to make any promises, but I'm going to try my best, and I hope you guys stay tuned for whenever I do get a video out. Hopefully it'll be a lot easier the older Avi gets, the more independent she gets, so I'll be able to sit down and record videos. I will probably just try and record them while they're both napping at the same time, but like today, I may not have luck with that. I pull the camera out. As soon as I get the camera out, they both wake up. So like I said, just bear with me on the entire situation, guys. This is very new to me, having 2 kids, and I am trying to figure everything out between them, recording my videos and starting my business, which hopefully will be started by next week. So stay tuned for that. I will make an announcement on it whenever I get it out, and I actually do have a separate channel for that business, so I will do all that information stuff later on when I actually have the stuff set up. So I will see you guys in the next video, and if you want to follow me on all my social media and see all the stuff regarding AV and Nico and any other boring things in my life, they're not boring, I'm just saying the rest of my life is boring because I don't do anything. You can follow me on my Instagram and or Twitter. I'm barely on Twitter, I'm mostly on Instagram, but you can follow me, both the links in the description down below, like always. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.